In this video, we're going to talk about the Kyler Murray contract. Then we're going to analyze the Cardinals as a team and discuss what the expectations should be for them this year. So first off, Arizona hands Kyler a $230 million contract. And within that contract, it says that he must complete at least 4 hours of independent study during each week of the season. The clause then goes into further depth, saying he will receive no credit for study hours if he is not watching the material displayed or if he is engaged in any other activity. Then it specifically lists out watching television, playing video games, or browsing the internet. The public reaction was so bad that the team went back and removed the clause. Something like this was previously unheard of. Yahoo Sports writer Charles Robinson reached out to executives and coaches across the league, and not a single one could recall ever hearing that kind of language in a deal like this. It's an embarrassment for Kyler and a bad look for the Cardinals, who are handing over hundreds of millions to a guy they can't trust to do his own homework. For some people, this probably brings back memories of the notorious blank tapes sent home with draft bust Jamarcus Russell. If you're wondering what type of studying, say, Tom Brady does, well, in the past he said he does 4 or 5 hours in one period straight, like without taking a break. Meanwhile, listen to Kyler's comments last year. He said, "I think I was blessed with the cognitive skills to just go out there and just see it before it happens. I'm not one of those guys that's going to sit there and kill myself watching film. I don't sit there for 24 hours and break down this team and that team and watch every game because, in my head, I see so much." Now, despite those old comments, Kyler still lashed out at everyone making a big deal out of this contract clause. I guess, in reality, he should be more angry at his team and agent for leaving such a unique part in the contract. Even if Kyler ends up being just fine, I guess this is still quite unfortunate because it's going to follow him around for the rest of his career. There will always be other players who are so talented that they don't have to study film, but Kyler is going to be getting "guess he didn't do his homework on that one" jokes for every mistake he makes for the rest of his career. Some guy on Twitter has already released the fantasy point graphs for every year of Kyler's career, with that line down the middle being the annual Call of Duty release. And of course, another guy tracked down a tweet from 2011 where Kyler says Call of Duty is better than reading. Maybe in the end, this embarrassment for Kyler will actually create change in his habits. And luckily, some of his teammates have already defended him publicly, so the hope is that this will have no negative impact on the locker room. Now, even ignoring the homework clause for a second, there were already questions about whether Kyler was deserving of such a deal. It was already quite a bit of money to give someone with 0 career playoff wins, and it was quite a bit of money to give to someone who still isn't considered a consensus top 10 quarterback in the league. If you keep him in the pocket, there's nothing too special. He's had some trouble throwing over the middle, although I will give him credit and say he improved on that last year. Still, at times, there were some questionable decision making. Sometimes he makes mistakes that end up really costing them, and he obviously needs to step up his game when the season is on the line. On the other hand, Kyler has improved with every year he's been in the league. He's got a strong arm to make all the plays he needs to. He's always been a dynamite athlete who's capable of making home run plays out of nothing. He really can put great touch on his deep balls, even when on the run. Honestly, his highlight tape is like top 3 in the league. He also does a great job taking care of his body. The Cardinals went 9-5 with him starting last year. He's actually younger than Joe Burrow, despite playing a season longer in the NFL. So as he ages, you'd think we would see more consistency in his understanding and control of the game. But right now, he does give the Cardinals a chance to win every game, because he's capable of elite play. I'm a bit concerned over his ability to improve when his offensive line is subpar. Overall, it's on the older side and also presents quite a few injury risks. Not exactly what you want to have in front of a young quarterback who's probably like 5'8" in actual real height. Kyler does have pretty good weapons. They lost Christian Kirk but traded for Hollywood Brown, who played with Kyler in college. The hope is that they can light a fire like Burrow and Jamar Chase did in their first pro season together. DeAndre Hopkins' 6-game suspension will definitely hurt, but maybe playing fewer games will leave him fresher toward the end of the season, where the games matter the most and where the Cardinals have struggled in recent times. Although they've also struggled without Hopkins, going 8-2 with him and 3-5 without him last year, including the playoff loss. I had Rondale Moore as a potential breakout player last summer, and with more targets going around without Hopkins, maybe I should do it again. He can affect the game in multiple ways and make this offense even more multi-dimensional than it already is. Zach Ertz has helped with targets over the middle, and they drafted Trey McBride, who was considered the best tight end in his class. On the defensive side of the ball, there are serious concerns at corner. Marco Wilson had notable coverage problems as a rookie, and Byron Murphy wasn't all that much better, although if he can play in the slot more this year, that would be great. Budda Baker is the bright spot, of course, in the secondary, having become a top 10, arguably top 5 safety in the league. He's paired up with Jalen Thompson, who led the team in tackles last year. We're still waiting for Isaiah Simmons to take that big leap in the NFL. If the Cardinals want to contend, they need Simmons and Zaven Collins to take those steps at linebacker. At this point, Collins has already shown more promise, but they need both to improve. On the D-line, it starts with J.J. Watt. He's still really good, but he has also missed serious time in 2 of his last 3 seasons. He's now 33 and is deserving of an injury concern label. He's supposed to be fully recovered from shoulder surgery and ready to make his mark as a Cardinal. The interior part of the line isn't set in stone. It's another weak point for this defense. And they lost Pro Bowl edge rusher Chandler Jones to the Raiders. Still, Marcus Golden and Devon Kennard will help round out the front 7 in a positive way. All in all, this defense is average. Some good spots, some bad spots. The Cardinals will have to rely on their offense if they want to make the playoffs. There's some rightful skepticism that they won't be able to do that without Hopkins for 6 games, but the skill positions should be good enough to make do. Kyler Murray and Hollywood Brown need to step up and reignite that magic they had in college. The Rams will almost certainly win the division, and they gotta hope Trey Lance struggles. The Seahawks obviously took a big step back, so this is no longer the hardest division in football. And with the NFC looking top-heavy, those last couple playoff spots are gettable for several different teams. I think that's what the Cardinals are looking at this year yet again.
This just in. Sources tell me that Kyler Murray must also clean his room once a week or his $230 million contract will become void.